Good afternoon. I'm your host, Jason William Freeman. Welcome to Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. On this podcast, each week I interview a different phenomenal guest about how they turn awkward into awesome in their own life. And I do this because it's been my journey too. I went from hating the sound of my voice for much of my life to now I'm a TEDx speaker. I've written a book that's somewhere behind me. And I've spoken to over 100 audiences. And now I'm your speaker who can't speak. No, and now I'm pleased to speak to audiences virtually. And today's guest is Eileen Anderson.
Today's guest, Eileen Anderson.
Welcome back. Let me tell you about Eileen. In her own words, Eileen is a seeker of alignment. Alignment is the blending of one's physical self and the broader, all-knowing spiritual self. So it may come as no surprise that Eileen and Jason met at a channeling event of a dear friend, Ian Lucas. Channeling is a passion for Eileen, and her first exposure to the concept of channeling was back in 2007 when she was introduced to the teachings of Abraham Hicks. She has been a sponge for the wisdom of the teaching ever since. The past 18 months have had its share of blessings and challenges, which Eileen believes are also blessings if you allow them to be. All of it has taken her further down the path of that delicious quest for alignment. I love that. That delicious quest for alignment. Eileen resides in Southern California and deliberately chooses to live near the ocean. She is very proud of her unorthodox family, which includes a dear ex-husband, his partner, her amazing daughter, who is away at college, as well as her 7 siblings, her 96-year-old dad, and her mom in heaven, whose love from the non-physical is being felt more and more every day. Eileen loves her work, working with the public, and was blessed that in a time of lockdown, she was deemed essential and was allowed to continue working, which is more aptly described as, check this out, an opportunity to express unconditional love to hundreds, if not thousands, of people each week. In full disclosure, Eileen was a bit nervous when I suggested that I interview her for this Awkwardly Awesome podcast, but then she channeled the words, "What the hell?" And here she is. So without further ado, whatever ado means, please welcome Eileen.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for reading that introduction. That was very fun to write and reflect on what do I want to say about myself. So that was an opportunity right there.
The introduction is so beautiful, and it brings immediately first of all, thanks so much for being here. I'm so lucky to have you on.
I was, I was delighted that you asked, and it was a little bit, oh man, a little nerve-wracking, but exciting at the same time. So I thought maybe there's a reason you asked me here today. Let's figure out what that was. We'll
So,
talk and see.
so a lot of people, including me at times, we feel the nerve wracking, and then we're like, nope, not going to do it. And we make up some excuse not to do it. But you're here. How did you get from the nerves to being here?
It's funny, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this whole seeking alignment, but one of the things that I've picked up on this physical trail, and you'll hear a lot of Abraham Hicks phrases because they're my favorite go-to inspiration.
First of all, what does
Yeah.
physical trail mean?
Oh, just this lifetime experience, just the things I've picked up. I've, spun around the planet a number of times. So just the things I've picked up along the way. And one is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And what I'm learning is sometimes when you do have a little bit of anxiety or a little anxiousness about something, you may not always get a hell yes, because that's a very tempering emotion when you have like anxiety. And so,
to say the least.
yeah. And so sometimes I think, maybe Eileen, you may never get the hell yes, but would I regret not having the experience? And I think if I had said no to you, while it wasn't a hell yes, because I was a little nervous about it, I think I would have regretted not having this experience with you. And so until I'm, until whatever resistance is in me that is keeping the hell yeses from really resounding loudly, I think that listening to the would I regret not having the experience, that's also a valuable way for me to see is something for me or not, and I wanted to see what transpired here today. I would have regretted not having this conversation with you.
Well, what a neat way to look at opportunities. Would I regret not taking this opportunity in the future?
Yeah. So like I said, that was kind of what got me here. And then I just, I watched the interview you had with Ina, I'll get it right one of these days, with Ina last week. And I remember that was how we met. And just some wonderful things that came from that, experience with her. And here I am. But I tend to take the lead a lot, so I'll let you ask me some questions if you'd like.
Sure. That
Yeah.
sounds good. So speaking of that experience with Ina, I think I think she's destined to get her name pronounced wrong on many occasions in this lifetime.
Rhymes with Tina, Ina. I think I got it. I just had to create a little memory trick. So
Yeah, but speaking of that experience, you were mentioning to me that you got something profound when we were at that channeling. I'll let you say that word. Say that word.
channeling event. Yeah, when we were with Ina.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So talk a little more about that.
When we met at Ina's house probably 6 or 7 years ago, like my intro said, I'm a seeker of alignment. And what alignment is to me is when you're not getting in your own way, when you have a desire and you don't immediately jump in and contradict it with your own thoughts. And for me, I think a big contradiction was this sense of anxiety that I carried around with me. And it kind of tempered, a lot of, I'm a joyful person, but I always felt there was a little bit of a temperance there that maybe just held it down a little bit. So when I had a chance to speak to Ina while she was channeling, because she's channeling infinite intelligence, I just asked the question, how can I get over my anxiety? I want to get over my anxiety. And I'll never forget. And Ina said a couple profound things to me when she's channeling. Later on, our paths met again, and she said something else, which I'll come back around to. But she said, you don't get around your anxiety, you get through your anxiety. You
Mm,
get through your anxiety,
mm,
and bliss is on the other side. And that
mm.
still brings me chills because it is so true, that bliss is on the other side. And I think one of the reasons I was attracted to this conversation was because that was 6 or 7 years ago. And still bit by bit by bit, I'm on that path of alignment. And in the last, I guess, what's the pandemic been, 18 months, I've had more and more opportunities to move through my anxiety. And I was going to share a little bit about that. And that really, I do know that bliss is on the other side.
So please share a little bit about that.
And I got permission to do so because the story involves someone very close to me. But during the lockdown, and I say I was essential in quotes because we're all essential. I didn't need anyone to tell me I was essential. But during the
Mm, mm.
lockdown, um,
A beautiful nugget. We're
yeah,
all
I'm
essential. I didn't
essential.
need
Dang it.
anyone.
Yeah, so I got to work the whole time. No, someone very close to me. It's interesting, the momentum of our lives. When you kind of have a momentum going, it's just kind of easy to stay in that momentum and maybe not look at things more closely that want to be seen and felt and experienced. And someone very
Mm,
close to me when the lockdown was lifting and had the opportunity to get back into their life and back into their job and back into their normal routine.
oh,
ex-
they were lifting
yeah, like
driving.
restrictions and being able to go out back in the world again.
Oh,
Someone
lifting restrictions. I thought you meant lifting for a sec, like Ubering. They were
Oh yeah, there
lifting.
you go. So we have some new vocabulary words now. No, lifting in the sense that the restrictions were being loosened.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so this dear one had some very strong challenges with that, and almost to the point of an agoraphobic response where didn't want to leave the house, didn't really want to. The stepping, it's like when you're on a merry-go-round. It's very easy to be on the merry-go-round, stop the merry-go-round, and it's sometimes very difficult to just get back on it. And part of alignment for me is knowing that things happen for me, not to me, that there's an opportunity in everything. And I
Things
wanted to
happen for me, not to
not
me.
to me. Yeah. What is this going to do for me? And so I wanted to bring that wisdom to this loved one. And I said, there's a blessing here. You're having a pretty profound experience with this anxiety. It is too big to ignore. It is too big to ignore. And I'm going to help you find the help that you need, because I would rather you deal with this anxiety now and learn to move through it, because I know that's where bliss is, rather than have kind of a low grade back burner anxiety that stays with you for
Mm,
decades, which is where I
mm,
felt I was. I'm not sure I used those words when I was having this
mm.
conversation, but it was as if there was a voice in my own head saying to me, wow, this young person is having an experience that's so profound. She's going to deal with this now and learn to move through her anxiety. What a
Wow.
gift. Yeah. And then
Wow.
I said, maybe there's something here for me too. And so actually that experience prompted me to seek some help with anxiety, which I've done in the past. And I'm an Abrahammer. I'm a law of attraction person, but I also use the physical tools that are in my experience. And so I did get some professional help, which was more useful to me than anything I had ever experienced in the past as far as dealing with anxiety. But it prompted an experience which I'll share. And if anybody gets anything out of it, so be it. But stepping back onto the merry-go-round when lockdown was, loosened wasn't an easy thing for me either. My job had gotten a little bit small. I wasn't traveling as much. I wasn't seeing as many people. And one day I was getting ready for work, and I usually start my day as a law of attraction practitioner, blessing my coffee, blessing the good night's sleep I had. I just launch right into appreciation. And this one day I was about to leave the house, and this anxiety it just had a grip on me. And I just listened to the voice in me that said, go back into your chair, because I have a chair where I meditate, and feel these feelings. Don't bless your coffee. Don't bless your good night's sleep. You feel scared right now. You feel afraid right now. You feel misunderstood right now. And I got back in my chair, and so this is a missing piece for me that I think I learned this year. All of my feelings are a part of me, and they're all wonderful, and I don't even like to discount my anxiety. My anxiety was a little kid that was saying, look at me, look at me. Have you ever had a little kid want you to watch them do something, and the less you pay attention to them, the louder they yell, look at me, look at me. And so this really was, and this only happened 3 or 4 months ago, this was a crazy powerful experience of me sitting my butt back in that chair and not blessing a damn thing, but just saying, you feel bad right now, feel it,
Mm,
feel it. And the tears came, and I think I did it for a
mm,
few mornings in a row. And I think for anyone that has anxiety, sitting with it and feeling it, I didn't want to figure anything out. It wasn't about where's this anxiety coming from, because then you just get caught in a story, and those can go on forever. And
yeah.
it really doesn't matter where it came from. One Abraham Hicks quote that I love is, your GPS, if you're lost, it doesn't say, well, gee, how did you get lost? It just wants to know where you are. Where
That's
are
awesome.
you? Yeah, where are you? So we can point you to where you want to go. And I feel like I maybe in a lot of ways wasn't being honest with my internal GPS by just not acknowledging that those feelings were there, those really sad, low feelings, which sad and low, they're a part of me. I don't even construe them as negative anymore. They're just part of me. Part of me is very happy, part of me is very joyful. Part of me sometimes feels scared, part of me sometimes feels, maybe like, where do I fit in? But just giving them a chance to be felt was pretty extraordinary for me. And I bless that this young dear person in my life who went through her anxiety episode in a very large, profound way, for kind of pointing me down a path of, um, let's really go through this and get to that bliss that's on the other side. And so that's just wonderful. And then the journey is still going on. I don't know what's next, but moving through it seems to be the way to go.
So I don't want to miss this at all because it's so crucial. Like so often we seek the pain relief right away, or the or else to ignore the pain by blessing, or whatever. What is the importance that you found of just sitting with the pain and letting it be, letting it have a voice?
Well, kind of like I said, it's like that little kid that wants to be acknowledged and heard. And I do know something about an emotional scale. Again, this is an Abraham Hicks reference, with powerlessness being at the bottom and joy being at the top, and a lot of things in between. Maybe frustration, anger, then you get to contentment and things like that. But I really think that you really can't bypass any of them. If you're feeling something on the low end, to hopscotch to the high end, it doesn't always work. But I find that if I actually sit with those other feelings and just feel them, let them wash over me, I kind of do bubble up to the higher feeling emotions.
So the sitting with them and being honest with them
Mhm.
kind of creates for you usually a
Yeah.
upward trajectory.
I find I never that it doesn't make them worse. I think that was my fear, that
Mm.
by really sitting and feeling them, they would get bigger. But by sitting with them and feeling them, they actually just kind of soften a little bit, and then just kind of incorporate into all the other parts of me that that are on a higher and lighter, vibration. So it just changed the whole way I think of anxiety. And now I've done some more, just just looking into it, and it's just something that is a part of you, that if you just don't try to shove it into the closet and don't look at it. Don't look at it. Like even today I had a little anxiety about this podcast, but I didn't, no, Eileen, just start blessing Jason. Just start blessing, it's like, no, I didn't jump into blessing anything. I said, all right, so you're feeling a little nervous. And suddenly the power of that isn't that powerful anymore. It's just like, okay, that's an emotion. Yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm feeling other things too. I'm feeling excitement. I'm feeling anticipation. But yeah, there's a little anxiety there. That's okay. It's just acceptance, I think ultimately that's what it is. It's just acceptance, and it's all good.
Speaking of acceptance and anxiety, it's a perfect segue to my next question. So, how do you deal in yourself with all the challenging things that are happening in the world, like when you hear something about a tragic event or something? How do you process that and move in the direction you want to go?
No, I just took a big deep breath because sometimes that's sometimes just a really good place to start. There's something in me, and it's always been there. I just have sort of a natural empathy with being here on this planet as a human being. And so I just sort of mentally my default isn't to go to anger. My default is to want to just sort of collectively give everybody a hug, And I know that with my job, it's a really easy way for me to practice that because it's funny. I was out yesterday and I forgot my phone and I had to wait for somebody. So what do I do with myself? I don't have my phone to play solitaire on, but I found a CD. I grabbed a CD out of my car, and it was actually a clip of me at an Abraham event. And
Wow.
yeah. And I said, oh, maybe this is fortuitous. Except now that the thought just went out of my head.
So you found a CD of you at the event.
Yeah, and finding it's very easy to be empathetic and feeling loving towards people that maybe you don't have that much interaction with, because they don't come with a lot of baggage. They don't come with a lot of history, and you don't have any, marks on the chart where maybe they kind of did you wrong or anything. So in my job, I actually deal with the public a lot and very short interactions. And just what I love is it's just a chance to be around people, and I love people. People kind of feed my batteries, so to speak. And it's just a chance to just want to love them, just as corny as that may sound. And so when I hear about the things in the world that aren't going well, I guess I've practiced this default mode of, maybe things aren't always pretty, but I know that the most powerful force on this planet is love. And if you can get to the point of love, and maybe sometimes you have to ride that emotional scale first. Maybe you got to feel angry first, feel it. Maybe then you got to feel frustration first, feel it. But the more you feel it, the more you do kind of bubble up to love. And when you can take action, anything that inspires you from a place of love. So I guess the thing is, Jason, I don't have the answers for all the world's problems. And the good news is, if I can just maintain my own space of love, I can't tell you how valuable I know that to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just loving the world through its growing pains,
Which is having some of.
Yeah. But I get a chance to, go out in the world and mix it up with people and love them no matter where they're at. Sometimes it's really fun. And again, this is such a great opportunity for me. Love them when they're cranky. It's like sometimes I encounter people at work and they're not, having the best day. And it's like, it just feels so good to just, I'm just going to send that person some love right now. They don't even have to know I'm doing it. It just feels so good. And I know I know there's a ripple effect, to that. And I know in the broader sense, we're all connected, whether we see each other on a screen or talk on the phone, just in our beingness, we're connected. And so if I can just get to a place where I just feel love in my heart, I know that's being felt. That's being felt, and that changes people. You want to see somebody melt really fast, just melt in front of your eyes, just meet them wherever they're at with love. You just see them. They just change.
So I want to get into that, but first, if anyone watching has comments, please comments or questions, please put them in the comments, and I'll read them and show them. Thanks.
All right.
So say that someone comes to you in your work in a cranky mood. What might you say to them to kind of shift that energy a little bit?
I guess I've gotten kind of good at reading people. So sometimes you just send them love and let them keep walking. I'm really not here to change anybody's cranky mood. It's not my job, but just to accept them where they are and just let them be. Even just that little bit of acceptance can be soothing to my soul. I'm very much about it needs to be a win-win. I'm not a martyr here. I'm not here to take someone's, verbal lashing and then, move on about my way. It's got to be a win-win for me. And some folks, I just realized maybe for this person, I'm just going to tiptoe backwards and get out of their experience and let them move on about their day. But other folks, if I can tell if they want to engage a little bit, I'll help them with whatever it is that they need. And actually, my job is to try to sell them something, but that's like number 3 on my priority list. The first priority is just to have an open heart. Second priority is, maybe help them in any way if they want my help. Some people do, some people don't. And then at some point I do have to do my job and tell them about what my company offers. But
you don't immediately, it's not number 1 on your list. You're not like, hi,
no.
buy my thing.
No. In fact, it's so great because most people want to play, and by play, most people want to engage. They see a sparkle in your eyes. They want to come to that place, and
they want to come to that place.
Oh yeah, most folks really, really do. And then the ones that don't, that's okay too. Oh man, it's not having any attachment to if they want to come and play or not. It's just let them be. And like I said, I get a lot of practice. I talk to lots of people a week, and it's just a really good chance to just love people where they're at, and where they are authentically at. If someone's in a bad mood, I appreciate their authenticity in that moment, Yeah.
If someone's in a bad mood, you appreciate the authenticity.
I do. It's like, okay, man, I don't know what their day is like, but I'm just gonna wish them well, Yeah.
It's an interesting parallel what you're talking about between you found for yourself that just sitting when you had anxious feelings and just feeling them helped, and then in your job you give the same grace to other people.
Yeah, let them be where they are, and if they want to move out of it a little bit and kind of shoot the breeze with me, so be it. And if not, that's cool too. So yeah.
Oh, I have another huge question, but first, Daryl Santel, who's just amazing too, and has been on the Awkwardly Awesome podcast, has great information. it's like finding your happy place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Finding your happy place.
But
Sometimes your happy place has a lot of emotions in there, it's also beautiful.
oh gosh, I have two opposite ways I want to go now. But so I'll hold that for a second and ask you. So your job is interacting with lots of people in a day, maybe thousands a week. What do you do with a person who wants to talk to you for an hour?
Yeah, you get those people. You know who they are?
Yeah, you do.
You get those people they've exhausted every family member, every friend because they want to,
So
and
how
sometimes
do you send them love yet be respectful of?
by respecting my own time as well. My time is also, and my employer's time, who is paying me to be there. So I'll give somebody some time with me, and if it's off topic of whatever it is we're doing there, I'll give them a little bit of time. But at some point, part of respecting myself is to say, hey, nice talking with you, but I think I best move on. I've got other people in the store I need to talk to, or you know
Mm,
it's funny because a lot of people I'm finding still maybe have a misunderstanding that loving excludes taking care of yourself, but you got to take
mm,
care of yourself
mm.
first. And if I'm standing there resentful because someone is sucking up all of my time, I'm not doing either of us any good by staying in that conversation. But hey, it's been really lovely talking to you. I've got some other things I need to do right now. I'm at work. Have a really good rest of your day. If I can say something from a genuine place of love, it's well received. And I think they get that. But that does happen, Jason. That does happen a lot. Yeah.
But you've learned to put a kind boundary
Yeah.
on that, both kind for yourself and your employer, and
Sure.
also them.
Yeah. I don't have to dig in my heels and furrow my brow and, snarl at anybody. You don't have to do that
Or
to
try
respect
to
yourself
give
and love
offhanded
yourself.
hints like yawning and all
See, I haven't
the.
tried that. Thanks for the I no I think there has been a time or two when I said, "Oh, time for that conference call." I've probably done that a time or two. But for the most part, yeah, nice talking with you, but yeah, I better get back to work. You know. It's well received. I haven't had you can have that, hold that space for yourself and have it not feel like a pushback. It's again, it's a win-win for everybody.
Mm,
Like I said, I don't want to stand there resentful and be somewhere I don't want to be. I don't know what I'm
so
adding to anything
important.
at that point, you know?
Because how many of us have spent hours listening to like just stuck in conversations that we have no I mean, this is so important what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Creating that kind boundary is so good.
Yeah. It's funny, you're reminding me of a time, and this wasn't even at work, just that the conversation was just on a topic that I just didn't want to talk to. Or it was about something very, very dark to me, murder or something. And I just, yeah, excuse me, gonna go fill my drink. We don't have to, we
Mm,
get to honor ourselves and I don't, politeness. Well, that was polite. I'm gonna go refill my drink, but we gotta take care of ourselves. God, all the cliches are true. You gotta take care of yourself in order to have anything to give. You know
mm,
that one's true. Maybe they're not all
mm.
true, but you gotta take care of yourself, and then you have so much more to give, and then you really are doing it from a place of love. You know, so
No, back to Abraham. When I began studying Abraham, I was always a novice, one foot in and one foot out. but what I thought I understood is that the positive emotions were good and the bad emotions were bad. So I guess this is back to what we were talking about before. So I try to just repress all the negative stuff and feel good, and that just didn't work.
You know what's so interesting about Abraham Hicks for me? Because I listen now to other teachers. There's a lot of good teachers out there, but that one for me still resonates the strongest. And every time I think that, oh, that was a little off, something in that message was off, I realize as I have a deeper understanding, they have been saying this all along. Like I said, if you try to push something away, just in the action of pushing it away, it will get bigger. So I think looking at my anxiety, I didn't dig it up. I didn't say, where's something for me to fix today? It was there. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go looking for it. And so my attempt to pretend that it isn't there just did make it bigger. And then the pandemic and slowing everything down did kind of highlight, when everything opened up again, that okay, now I'm really feeling it more strongly. In contrast to the kind of sedate life we'd all been living, I'm sort of now really feeling my anxiety. So I think sometimes Abraham Hicks teachings are misunderstood, and that might be maybe when someone's new to it, a misunderstanding that, I mean, obviously joy is good and powerlessness does not feel as good. But if you are feeling powerless, the path to joy is to move through it and to feel it. It was, again, it goes right back to what Ina channeled for me. You don't get over your anxiety, you move through it. And then it all is part of this wonderful. Haven't you ever, and again, I quote Abraham Hicks all the damn time. So haven't you ever really enjoyed a meal because you were hungry? You were so hungry. And I always say nothing tastes better than a meal after you've been hungry. So like maybe moving through those lower emotions just makes the joy even sweeter. It just makes it that much sweeter. So yeah, that's but what you're experiencing there, thinking that you just try to focus on the good emotions. Of course, if I wake up in the morning feeling pretty good, I do launch right into that coffee. I'm so in love with my coffee. I love that coffee. I love the warmth of that coffee in my cup. I love the smell of it. I love the whole experience. But if I'm up in the morning and I'm feeling maybe not right there, I just, okay, start where you are. Start where you are. Be authentic to where you really are. Yeah, and I think their teachings do convey that when you listen closely.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. I think I was kind of cherry picking what I wanted to hear, and then so that didn't quite work, because cherry picking doesn't get the complete teaching.
And and also for different people, different teachings ring your bell. I mean, that one for me, as soon as I heard it, really, really rung my bell. So I could hear maybe the message just because something about it resonated. But maybe other teachers, wherever it can slip in, slip into our awareness. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it sure is mine. What?
Dale asked, what kind of books do you enjoy?
I used to read just a lot of self-help books. That was a big thing. For Christmas, I got Matthew McConaughey's. I like any kind of a book. I like really anything where the message is alignment. Maybe that's not what they're selling per se, but it's there. And Matthew McConaughey's book, you can just see where he kind of reads his energy. And if he doesn't feel like it's a yes, he kind of slows down. But as soon as he feels that yes, he moves forward. So that was his, autobiography, I guess, up until this point. But it was all about energy. Something kind of interesting. Oh yeah, Matthew's book was excellent. I don't even have my glasses on and I could read that. That's pretty good. I was surfing Netflix the other night and I came across Marie Kondo, the woman who sparks joy with tidying. And I thought, man, she's all about energy. So I realize you don't have to find always self-help books. Anybody that's kind of tuned in, their message has alignment in it. And she was so great because this was not a book, this was a TV episode, but she went to someone's house that was a mess. And before she even got started, she just took a moment. And I think what she was doing was just kind of imagining the way she already sees it in her mind. It's not the way the reality currently reflects the situation, but she was already kind of finding that point of where she wanted the outcome to be, and then knowing that the actions would get them there, you know. So, and she had so much joy. I mean, so you're in the show, everyone can see and hear you. I don't know what that is.
What?
Oh, I thought that was the chat box. That's just the directions on our I think that's just the directions on our forum here. See, I got so cocky that I could read that I started reading everything on my computer screen. So what kind of books do I enjoy? All kinds. Yeah.
So what I would love to hear is what alignment means to you in your life.
Oh, it starts with the basic premise that this universe, and I use God universe interchangeably, is good, and that there's a well-being that is, and you know, I saw an interview the other day. How do you know there's a God? And again, that term God is even loaded for some people. But if I just close my eyes and sit still, I just feel it, you know. So alignment is for me my acknowledgement that I'm a flesh, blood, and bone human being, but I know that there's more. I know that there's more than just this. And I have a spiritual side of me that's much more connected to the all-knowing, you know, one source, love, all that stuff. And it's almost like binoculars. You've got one perspective here, and as soon as they go like that, and now you have focus, I guess it's just that acknowledging that I'm a physical person with a much more expansive, broader spiritual side. And when I kind of let those two sort of exist in the same space, then peace of mind resides right there. That is for me peace of mind. And
peace of mind is why is peace of mind important?
All right, that's good, because I think it ties in. It's the only thing I've ever wanted. You know, I just remember always just, you know, anxiety can kind of manifest as sort of a pit, you know, in your stomach. And I just thought, I just want peace of, you know, didn't always put these words to it, but I just want peace. I just want peace in my heart, you know? I just want to feel, and that's what alignment is to me, the acknowledgement that the universe is good and that there's well-being everywhere. And training your focus to pay attention more to that than the other stuff that can be a little bit distracting at times. You know, I'm not denying that there's, you know, there's distractions, but overwhelmingly, there's just so much goodness, and there's so many wonderful people, and there's so many things to appreciate. And it's peace of mind. Yeah, that's my peace of mind.
What would you tell someone who's been experiencing anxiety for years and just can't see a different way of experiencing life from where they are at least at the moment? They just can't see any way beyond.
You know, I had to try a few different things before I found something that worked for me. And I would encourage them, keep seeking. You know, I don't have a cookie cutter answer for everybody,
Mm,
but if
mm,
it's our
mm,
own journey. It's our
mm.
own journey. But if they're asking me, because that's the slippery slope, is injecting that to somebody. Sometimes people don't want unsolicited, advice. Maybe just loving them is the best thing.
Say someone is asking you,
Yeah,
Eileen.
yeah. I would say keep seeking. I would say keep seeking. Help is there. Bliss is on the other side. That's all I needed. All I needed was to know. And Ina gave me that answer that bliss is on the other side. So
So
it's worth it.
when you hear her bliss was on the other side, it's almost like you had a new destination to
It
go
was
to.
hope. Yeah. It was a really hopeful, um, it was a really hopeful message. And I think that that's all I needed. Okay. Bliss is on the other side. I can keep going. I can keep trying things. I can, so I think that's what I would share with somebody with anxiety. Bliss is on the other side. Learn to work through it. Find something. If it's not a fit, it's okay. Try something else. Um,
Speaking of seeking, it's 2007. Like, how did you go from where you were to suddenly finding Abraham? Uh,
so going back to 2007 again.
yeah, how did you go from just being stressed out and then how did Abraham appear in your life?
I was a seeker even back in 2007, my whole life. Like I knew, like we know inside that if we're feeling off, we know it's off. And just the fact that it's off means we know that there's another way of being. So
Mm.
I
Just the fact that it's off means we know there's another way of
yeah,
being.
otherwise
That's
we'd off would feel
phenomenal.
like, okay, this is it. I don't feel great, but this must be the way it is. So I was always seeking, I was always seeking. And again, somebody very close to me said, here's I think it was a VHS tape at the time.
Yeah.
You want to listen to it? It's kind of, you're always kind of sheepish to share it with somebody. I wouldn't be anymore, but I would want them to ask me for it. I just don't like have CDs in my purse that I hand out or anything. But I listened
You
to it.
don't just
I'm
dig
not
through
that
your
person.
purse and
Yeah.
say, here's a VHS tape.
Yeah. So no, this good friend gave me a VHS, and like I said, for me, because it's the same universal truth, and there's lots of teachers teaching it, but for me, Abraham, the way Esther channels, it got right in immediately. And something about the guy that was asking wanted something, and their answer was, well, yeah, but you're not a vibrational match to that. And I didn't really quite understand that the wording, not a vibrational match, but I knew that if what you want, you can't even begin to feel it. You're not. It's never going to come to you. You really do kind of have to feel into your desires, and then they come to you. I mean, it just in 12 seconds, I'm like, I'm listening to more. So yeah.
So here's a question: how do we stay grounded in the present and like at work? How do you stay grounded with whoever happens to be in front of you, and at the same time feeling into the future of what you desire?
I hope this is the answer to your question. Sometimes at work, I just have to remind myself so much is just going on in here that I control. Like, why don't I just decide at this moment to have fun? Why don't I just in this moment just approach this from the perspective of, isn't this, like it's a decision. So and sometimes I catch myself, like, oh my god, checking the watch, well, phone, I don't watch anymore, but 3 more hours of this or whatever. But if we can make the decision, I'm going to have some fun. It's amazing how the universe cooperates with a decision. It's indecision that leaves us kind of feeling like teetering. But if I've noticed this in my life, I noticed this in the people around me, that once we decide, then that's when the elements conspire to help us with that decision. So I just decide sometimes. If I catch myself kind of going, kind of spiraling, I just try to make a new decision in this moment. Yeah, can I make this fun?
So do you also spend time like envisioning like 20 years in the future achieving some goal and what that would feel like?
Here's the thing, because you know what? I was a little worried, I'll be honest with you. When you first were inviting me on this podcast, I think you were going to call it like living your best life. And I even called you and said, I don't know, you want to interview me or not, because I just didn't really feel like, who am I to speak on living your best life? Because I was thinking of marks on the chart, what's my resume look like? What, how many cars do I have in my driveway? I was doing all that typical stuff. And then I actually, in reflecting on preparing for this podcast, thought, if living my best life, which my goal has always been peace of mind and truly feeling that alignment, I am in this moment living my best life. I can honestly tell you, I am living my best life right now. Is there more coming? Yes. And I haven't got a clue, what it looks like or what it's going to be. I think right now I'm more open to imagining those possibilities than I ever have been. Because again, anxiety is kind of a tempering emotion. It just kind of clamps down a little bit on everything. And so, yeah. So dreaming big would be equally tempered by like this anxiety. So dreaming big didn't even feel that good because it just, so, okay, this is the other thing that Ina said to me in a second channeling session, because about the goals and about the where do I see myself in 20 years and all that kind of stuff. We were, it was sort of a roundtable discussion, and I was last, and I said, I was a little sheepish about it. I don't have goals per se. I just want to live life. I just want to mix it up. I just want to be happy. I just want to, and Ina, I'll never forget. She said, your guides, my spiritual better half, they're jumping up and down. They're like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, thank you, because I don't have a traditionally ambitious trajectory. I don't necessarily like, for me, the golden ring was peace of mind. And I have that more than I've ever had it.
Wow.
So I am living my best life. And how that is going to look in 20 years, I really haven't, I'm just so basking in this delicious feeling of this peace of mind that I don't even want to distract myself from this, I know good things are coming. I don't have to worry about that, And so that Ina, again, thank you, Ina, if you're watching, or I'll make sure you tune in and watch the replay. That just again was the hope that it was the everything is going to be okay, knowing that just helped me. Like I felt a little guilty that God, I should have more of a plan, And no, she said, your guides are jumping up and down. I just want to mix it up in this world. I just want to. I like being a joyful person. I will happily sit through. I will happily sit through the lower feelings as they come up, and experience them to bubble up to joy. And I just want to be in the world feeling joy and being joy. And everyone come along or don't. Again, the lack of attachment gives people the freedom to come along. If you need someone to do something, they don't want to do it. If you need them to do it, they're kind of more resistant. I don't need it. I just want to be the joy, and come with me if you want to.
So powerful. So powerful.
Oh.
Wow. Goosebumpy powerful.
I knew I wanted to talk to you. I knew I would regret it, even though it wasn't a hell yes. I knew that I would regret it if we didn't have this talk. Anything else you have? Because I was going to share one other thing, but what were you going to say?
I have another thing. Do you, me go, you go?
No, you go first. You go first. You're your show.
So in my business, I talk about the power of doing our imperfect best, and
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that is we have a vision of the best we can fill in a day, whatever, and as we go towards it, m- mistakes, things that we think are imperfect, come up, and we can either learn from them and move towards our best, or use them to stop and 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 stop. I didn't need to say stop again, but so anyway, what does imperfect best mean to Eileen Anderson?
You
And
know
I
what?
didn't need to say your whole name. You know your name.
I know. Jason Freeman. Imperfect, is kind of like it's where I live. It's just so me. I mean, I've never been accused ever of being a perfectionist. I mean, um, everything's a little messy, everything's a little askew. Anyone with OCD could probably never live with me because they would want straight lines, and I have everything crooked. Um, uh, Perfect is boring. It's imperfect that is interesting to me.
Mm,
I love imperfect. um
mm.
my ex-husband, who I was going to segue to just a little bit, has a dog, and this dog is a hot mess. Her name is Penny, and her tongue's wagging, her hair's a mess, and then there's this other little Maltese that is part of the family, and that one's groomed and perfect, and I say, Penny, you're my spirit animal. I mean, she's just got so much spunk and so much personality, but she's a hot
What
mess.
kind of dog is she?
Maltese, little Maltese. Yeah.
They're both my
A little,
Maltese.
yeah.
Oh,
They came from the same litter, raised in different families. One is well groomed and very well behaved, and Penny just is her own self and looks a hot mess, but you just gotta love her. And I like to think that Penny is kind of a joke, but Penny is my spirit animal because
that's
I'm
awesome.
not striving for perfection. I don't think I am. Yeah, I've never. Yeah, that word, how sort of you try words on for size and see if they, yeah, I don't see myself as a perfectionist. So, but anyway, about that did just bring up one sweet example of
Oh,
I loved hearing my intro back when you read it. Thank you. I have an ex-husband, and when I look back and kind of use reverse engineering on what has worked out the best in my life, he's a wonderful man, and I can truly say I've never had a bad thought about him. And I feel like, yeah, we
wow.
we had one of those pre-earth arrangements to be here at the same time to have each other's back. I have no doubt.
Mm,
And
mm,
so our path has been so interesting because it's been so easy. It's been so easy. There was no trauma, no drama. It was just love, and our relationship is evolved to such a beautiful place. And I just love him to bits. And so when I sort of think about um, he's just the best example of good love leading you down a very easy path. Like I just love him. I just love him. And so our relationship has evolved in such a loving way. And I guess I wanted to give him a little shout out because I asked him for permission, and permission granted, and then to not even mention him would have just felt like a missed opportunity. So
so,
he's just a great example of when you just hold love for somebody without a need for it to play out in any particular way and just let it be what it is, it just unfolded in the best possible path.
last question. And this is for you and him if he were here, But what would you say to a couple that realizes that it's time to separate and divorce about moving forward as friends, as loving beings towards each other?
Well, it's funny because I had to give myself that talk because, I've had relationships since my ex-husband. And sometimes, again, it's that sometimes I can be the most loving if I'm not in the relationship. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be a loving person so much that I think I can do it best if I'm not in the relationship. Because again, it's not the attachment. It's not the attachment to, and I've never been married since my ex-husband, but even just in relationships, I'm not one to give like blanket answers to anybody because I'm so sure that everybody has their own direct connection to their path. That it takes the pressure off of me, but I know that in the pep talks I've given myself in the years that I've been divorced and had other relationships, loving myself first is, again, it's where I feel my alignment. And sometimes that means that this maybe isn't the place. And it doesn't mean the relationship was wasted or not valuable. I mean, my gosh, you learn from every experience. But I've learned that you can't compromise your alignment. And sometimes people can stay in a relationship and find it, and I've done that. I've tried very hard, but other times it's like, I really think that for me to continue being the loving person that I am, it would just be easier if we did it separately, not as a couple. And that's, I think, respectful to both people, you know? Yeah, that can be a hard one.
To keep being the loving person that I am, I think it would be better if we did it separately than as
Yeah.
a couple. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a beautiful thing to be able to say, not like I blame you or anything like that, but just
That's kind of owning your end of it. I got to say, Ina had a breakup, and she talked about it publicly, so I hope it's not out of turn for me to say it was the most beautiful breakup I've ever seen. And it brought me tears of joy. Both parties talked about it. And I'm like, man, if I could find a relationship where we could be that loving after we've decided not to be a couple anymore, holy smokes, that's pretty powerful stuff. So yeah, there's, it's kind of just going with the flow, and flow changes. Sometimes relationships are in that flow, and other times it's time to maybe not be in them anymore. But again, I know I want to love everybody. I'm a lover, and if it's easier to do outside of a relationship, then maybe that's time, And I love my ex-husband because in maintaining this kind of trajectory, we've loved each other through every step of it, and it doesn't mean the relationship ended, so the love ended. Oh my God, the love is even stronger because we followed our paths, It was wonderful.
The love is even stronger because you follow your path. That's a nugget. Flow changes as a nugget. Oh my God. Dude, if I come on, Eileen, you just have so much. I just wanted to read come on, the title of
Come
the
on,
song.
Eileen. I thought you were going to break into song. One of the best songs ever written, by the way. Come on, Eileen.
Come
Dexy's
on,
Midnight Runner. Everyone should have a hit song with their name in it. It feels very good. Yes.
Whereas I just have a horror movie
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
See, and horror movies aren't my thing. I know what I like and I know what I turn my attention from, and I've never seen one of those movies.
But I have, I mean, anyway, not Jason is a whole movie character, but anyway, thanks so much
Wow.
for all your for just sharing so much love with the audience and so many nuggets.
Well, it's been my pleasure. So thank you so much for inviting me. I was like, very, very, very cool. Jason wants me on his podcast. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This was great.
This was great. Mwah. I'll see you soon. All right.
Wasn't, oh my gosh. If you're watching this and have any comments on it, just please add them. And also I encourage you to take notes, because Eileen's, how she sees the world is so powerful. And yeah, so and like she says, try on what she says, try on what other people says, and find what works for you. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll have another amazing guest next week. Have a great day.